Hi everyone, welcome back to Clues by Sam. We have a medium one today, so it's gonna be a nice short one today. If you don't know what Clues by Sam is, it is a daily puzzle where each day you have 20 people who may be criminals or innocents and might give you clues to help figure out what each person is. And you gotta follow those clues without doing any guesses. So we enjoy doing this every day here on the channel, and if you want to play as well, there is a link in the description to take you to it. And I go back in the videos the next day and add the links to the previous ones if you want to try yesterday's. It was an easy one, so better for starters, and I'm going to start mine today and explain my logic as I go if you want to follow along. So let's start with Gary telling us that Linda is one of two innocents above Wally. So Linda is an innocent, and above Wally is Gary himself and Linda, and there's two innocents only. So if both of them are, then everybody else who's above Gary or Wally, sorry, is a criminal. Now, don't need Gary's clue anymore. Linda is giving us clues about the mechanics of the game, and Sarah says that exactly one innocent to the left of Irving is neighboring Flora. One innocent. Well, there's two people to the left of Irving who neighbor Flora. One of them is Carol, who is not an innocent, so the other person has to be. That's Andre. And we don't need Sarah's clue anymore. Andre says that exactly 2 of the 6 innocents neighboring Linda are in row 4. So there's 3 people neighboring Linda in row 4. 2 of them are innocents. One of them is already a criminal, so the other 2 have to be innocents. And we know that Linda has 6 innocents total neighboring her, so only one more criminal. Tom says that each column has at least 3 innocents, so that means that column B needs a 3rd innocent and it only has 1 person left, so that person has to be an innocent. Now, Paula says that Linda's tip works for both names and professionals. Oh, professions. That really helps. Wally says that row 1 is the only row with exactly 2 innocents. So there's a second innocent here who's either Daniel or Irwin in row 1, but we also know that row 4 needs a 3rd innocent and it has only 1 person left, so that person is the 3rd innocent. And Uma says that all innocents in column C are connected. So how do we know? We know that Linda has to have a second criminal, right? And she has 2 more people besides Stone that neighbor her in column C. If Mark were to be her the second and last criminal neighbor for her, then there would be 2 innocents in column C who are separate. But they can't be, they have to be connected, so Mark has to be an innocent. Does that make sense to you? Now Mark says there are as many innocent cooks as there are innocent painters. Let's use Paula's school now. So how many cooks are there? 3 cooks, Daniel, Igor, and Sarah. What about painters? There's 2 painters. So if there are as many innocent cooks as there are innocent painters, and there's 2 cooks left, one of them has to be an innocent because there is an innocent painter already, right? We could have both of those cooks be innocents because it could be that both painters are innocents, but what we couldn't have is Igor being a cook and a criminal. Because if he is, then Daniel would have to be a criminal. And now we have no innocent cooks, but we know that we need one. So that one for the moment has to be Igor. Hope that made sense. Now we know that the last criminal neighbor for Linda is here in column A, and that's either Flora or Kay. Igor says there's an odd number of innocents below Andre. Okay, we know there's 2 so far, Paula and the second one who's either Flora or Kay, so we need the 3rd one to make an odd number, which is Vince. Vince says there are more innocent judges than innocent singers. There are more innocent judges than us innocent singers. How many judges do we have? 3 judges and 2 singers. So if all 2 of the singers are innocents and we have 2 innocent judges, the 3rd judge has to be an innocent as well to make more than the singers. Nicole is an innocent then. We know something about columns, right? Each column has at least 3 innocents. So far, column D could still have less than 3 instances. So I'm gonna leave this clue here to remind me of that later. Nicole says that an odd number of us innocents on the edges neighbor Igor. So where's Igor? Igor so far has 2 innocents neighboring him on the edges. One of them is Nicole. The other one is either going to be Daniel or Erwin. So that's an even number. We need the third one, who has to be Jerry, the last person to neighbor Igor on the edge. And now Jerry says there are exactly 2 innocents below Mark. Well, below Mark, so far there's only 1 innocent and only one person left. So that person has to be the second innocent. Yeah. Now Sia says that exactly 1 innocent to the left of Jerry is neighboring Andre. To the left of Jerry, there is 1 innocent neighboring Andre already. That's Gary. And if there's only one, then that means that the other person to the left of Jerry, the neighbors Andre, is a criminal. That's Flora. And that makes Kate an innocent. Now we have 3 innocents in column D, so I'm gonna dismiss Stone's clue. Wally's is not needed anymore as well. Vince is the only person in a corner with 1 criminal neighbor. Well, Andre is in a corner and has 2 criminal neighbors. Vince has 1, Sarah has none. But that means that Erwin couldn't have a criminal neighbor because he would be just the same as Vince. So Daniel, who neighbors Erwin, has to be an innocent, and Erwin is the last criminal. Not the last one, we need to know what Zara is. Oh, is it about the painters? There are as many innocent cooks as there are innocent painters. So if we have 2 innocent cooks, that means we need 2 innocent painters. And we have 2 painters total, right? So both of them are innocents. So Erwin was the last criminal. I was right. That was a good one. I like it. I like that the phrasing was a bit different because I mentioned a couple weeks ago, I think, a few days ago, how we often have the clues be phrased the same way, so we get used to it and we kind of just assume stuff. We kind of start reading them or automating the reading of them, and then sometimes you skip over things because you're just so used to the way clues are saying stuff that you assume what they're saying. So it's nice that the phrasing changes from time to time, or sometimes you say the same thing in a different way, so that you keep your mind with the most attention to what you're reading. So I like it. I like it. I hope you like it as well. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you tomorrow for more Clues by Sam. And if you wanna let me know how it went for you, then leave it in the comments. Bye bye.